Natasha.
Hi, Anne. Hi, Anne-Marie.
There's
How
no
are
other
you?
way to be but bold, right? Like,
For me, no. For me, no. And I usually, and not everyone appreciates my honesty. This is what I've learned throughout my life. A lot of people get aggressive, get defensive, or get triggered. But I really appreciate honesty, even in other people, as long as it's expressed with certain respect. Honesty, straightforwardness is a beautiful thing, and being bold is being honest. So I am totally pro bold.
were you always like this? Because I certainly have only grown into this in the last year in my life. I thought I was, but I realized I was not being truthful, favoring pleasing other people over that. So, how did this come to you so young?
So young. I really take this as a compliment. Ooh, I keep it like this. But no, I think I've been always like this. I have been always an outcast. I always was very unconventional in my way. It's not being unconventional just for the sake of being unconventional. I just very analytical in my mind. So I always analyze and always kind of like come up with my own decision and express it. But very often people call it bold because it's so different to what other people believe in and what society believes in. So I'm kind of used to it. But I will always agree when there is a sense. It's not just, as I say, it's not just a rebellious nature. And if you believe in human design, for example, because I'm into astrology, human design, and all of that, and it's basically a mix of astrology, numerology, and psychology. And there's a very strong definition of me being very provocative in the way I communicate. So it's kind of like, I guess it's part of your blueprint. You learn to make it respectful, because if I would be younger, maybe I would say I would be more aggressive. Now, definitely, I'm not aggressive. I'm very loving, but I'm honest.
That's crazy that you bring up human design, because I've heard of that in and out of my work and just my interest. And then yesterday I listened to a podcast about it and I thought, okay, this is not like some weird woo woo thing. Like it's rooted in science.
It is science. A lot of people always very, very like super enthusiastic to slaughter it in terms of like its accuracy, right? But you just don't understand it. It doesn't mean that it's tarot is something that I would question. This is purely for me a nonsense, and I'm going to be again very honest myself. But this is like, it's actually a well-developed science, including the astrology. You cannot judge a person by the star sign. It's like the smallest tip of the iceberg. You got to look at a lot of other things. I do not hire without looking at the person's chart, because your CV to me is meaningless. You can say you're very good at marketing, you're very good, you're super organized, and I look at your chart with a professional, because I'm not a professional, and I see you're chaotic, you're unreliable, I can see everything. Obviously, like, you can imagine my inner circle and all my potential love interests go through the same screening. Maybe that's why I'm still single. I should not see so much before it even starts,
I haven't done it and I'm still single too, but maybe I've been doing it sort of on a different level.
But maybe it's just like, sometimes you just gotta let go.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
is what I'm embracing this year. Is just like, no one is perfect. There will always be something to work on. There will always be something to have a hard conversation about, and almost like, okay, give me a challenge now. I think I worked on myself for such a long time. I really went from 0 to 100 in terms of personality, how I see the world, how I control my emotions, how I control my triggers, how I work on my traumas, which we all have. And now I feel like, okay, give me that challenge now. Like I've learned, I've graduated. Now it's time to kind of like, go out there and leave it. So yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your story. Like, tell us where you came from and how this whole thing got started and what led you from there to Health Nag.
So I was born and raised in Estonia, in a very, very small village. I can't say that we had a terrible life. It was just like a super average. Mom was always working. Dad was not there. They divorced. We were kind of by ourselves with my brother doing our own thing. Never really had like a super close family. It's just, I'm not blaming anyone. It's just what it is. Like quite dysfunctional, quite common. Yeah. And then I started misbehaving very early, basically. So that rebellious nature maybe was started to come out, because my mom was not always around. She was super busy working, like constantly trying to provide for us. So I was just by myself, and I got into drugs quite early, to be honest. Like I was very unhealthy. I was a smoker at a very young age. I think at 17, 18, I already started to smoke. I was into alcohol. I was like partying all the time, hanging out with completely wrong people. It was very opposite the type of Natasha. So I think obviously speed it up and fast forward a couple of years, my health started to take its toll, because I could easily have no food throughout the whole day, even sometimes for days, and just literally live, I don't know, on wine or whiskey and Coca-Cola and a cigarette. Like I was disaster. And I openly say that, because then whoever tells me, oh, I cannot remove bread, I'm like, guys, if I can do this, literally, anyone can do this. I was absolutely opposite of health. But by the age of 22, so I started like abusing my body from 18 to like 22, I got diagnosed with hypothyroid. It was also an autoimmune, so my body already really was not happy. My liver was in a terrible condition. When I did my first bioresonance session in Austria with a professional, he said, oh my God, at 22, what happened to you? Your liver is destroyed. So obviously it's all this alcohol and disgusting food, and I really didn't look at my nutrition at all, and I didn't even exercise. I think my first gym session was around 27. Like it was really bad. Like the way I was brought up is kind of like I'm paying all the debts now for me abusing my immunity earlier. So and then I had the PCOS, and I was the depression and my insulin resistance. So I was a pre-diabetic already at 22. So when all of this kind of came to me, maybe that's when a little bit of a wake-up call happened, and I'm like, And then whenever I'm usually told that something is for life, you have to go on a hormonal therapy, there's nothing you can do. This is where I think the biggest trigger, because I'm such a fighter, I'm like, no, wait. Let me research that, look into it. And then I did. And then that's kind of like exactly when my health obsession started. I didn't transform everything right away. It took years and years and years to get me where I am, where I can now officially say I'm probably the healthiest person that I know, and probably the most obsessed about health. But it was like then a small habit at the time. So I had a rash all over my body, which I couldn't fix. And then I removed dairy, and I realized, oh, wow, dairy actually causing me rash. So this is when my anti-dairy obsession started, like around 24, 25. I realized dairy is really bad. So that's one thing that I started to remove. Obviously, I started to work on my smoking. I quit smoking only at around age of 25. So it was like step by step. And then it got more and more and more. I got into anatomy, biochemistry, Ayurveda, Chinese medicine. Obviously, I started hot yoga, and I just did multiple detoxes. I traveled the world going to those detox farms, doing water fasting, juice fasting, I don't know, antifungal protocols, antiparasitic. I did bioresonance. I did like anything you can imagine. I did even crazy thing to work on your emotional health, because we cannot separate it. I'm sure there was some trauma acquired from my lifestyle, even on emotional level, because my mom wasn't really available. My dad was not there. I was like by myself. So I had to do all this mistake by myself. And then I did like a family constellation, which is looking at your generational traumas. It's probably another topic, but I was trying to heal myself from all levels. And it did work. People who tell me now you cannot heal PCOS, I say, I'm sorry, I disagree. I'm usually more aggressive than that. but I did. PCOS is gone. Hypothyroid gone. You can work on your thyroid. You can improve your hormones. They're actually self-regulating. When you start getting healthier and healthier, they take care of it. The body takes care of everything by itself. You don't really need to know how to do it when you follow the basics, when you work on your sleep, your nutrition, meditation, everything. Hot yoga is a great contributor, because your bad cholesterol, like by blood test, goes within 3 months. It improves dramatically just from hot yoga, even if you don't change anything else. So these kind of things that I learned. And then it's just now I spend a lot of time and my own money just to go to meet professors, meet people talking about longevity, stem cells. It's just like now I got the basics. Right now I know everything. So all my businesses and all my passions, you can literally track all my interests throughout my life by the businesses I set up. So first it was hot yoga. I got obsessed, and then I set up first yoga studio. It wasn't even a drip. There was another one a while ago in 2012, which I sold, called Raw. And then I'm like, okay, I want to have a dairy-free dessert. I want to have gluten-free and coconut yogurt. And in 2015, I set up a food manufacturing company called Manchery. I had like 2 floor facility in Al Quoz here in Dubai, producing everything from scratch, gluten, dairy, and sugar-free. And we were supplying to waitress and spinners. And this was like my way of expressing to the community that I got you, you know. I burned money. I lost money. So I'm going to be honest. But it's like my passion drives me. I'm not necessarily commercial. I'm not always like taking into account that certain things may not be economically feasible, but I can't help it. I just want to create businesses that are good for the community. It's just something that, even for myself, I'm the first customer for drip, for organic food, for whatever bioresonance now I do, for the supplements that I take my own supplements. It's almost like if no one can do it, I will do it. This is my mindset now.
There's just so much crap out there as well. I'm sure you came across when you're going through this journey that you're sifting through. And then one of the criticisms that's always leveled against some of the integrative doctors who have their own supplement line is, oh, they just have their own supplement line. And so the sort of mainstream medical side uses that to discount people, I find. But I always think like it's so hard to find good supplements that if I was at that level, I probably would launch my own line of supplements too, because you can't really find what you need on your own. There's just so much weird stuff out there. When people, or do people criticize you for selling supplements? Because that gets slagged all the time. And what do you think about that?
I'm sure they do, just not in my face. I am sure that they do, but it's up to them. Obviously, I try to be super transparent in all my communication. As I said, some people even are super uncomfortable with my honesty, but I scrutinize my supplies. I scrutinize the traceability. I look at I cannot sleep at night. It's just who I am. It's super important for me to deliver something of the high quality, and I feel like it's so obvious to others when they're like fillers and other things. And I look at it as like, how do you not understand? This is not even good for you. But it's also lack of education. Like I know biochemistry. If I look at certain supplement and I see, I don't know, one thing that mineral is there and that cancels another one, for many people, it doesn't make any sense. Like multivitamins, a lot of them cancel each other if you take them at the same time, or you only extract one. Is that people don't understand. So it's like, I always say, do your own research. You don't have to trust me. You don't have to take my word for it. But I think throughout the time that people maybe engaged with me, they've learned this about me, that I am really particular about the things that I do, and it's commercial profits is not my number one priority. I do it for something else. Maybe if I would do it purely for commercial purpose, I would be in a completely different commercial position right now. But I stick to my guns, and I think that credibility also, a lot of people do message me like, whatever you say, I trust you because of how honest you are. I think people feel it's something you can't really do with a lot of money. You can't buy credibility. You can't buy trust, especially I think a lot of supplements brands are very corporate, and people really don't trust a lot when it comes from a very strong, powerful corporate organization, because everyone understands it's a business, it's a money machine. But there are brands that I personally trust, and I openly say, like, I trust Thorne. They put so much money behind the studies, behind the products, and the highest quality. That's why they're not the cheapest, right? Like other brands I already question, and there are sites out there. That you can do your own research that actually takes all the famous brands and even looks at their labeling mismatch completely of what's actually on the inside. There are independent studies like that, and then some brands are super clean, and this is what you can do as a customer. So I always encourage, in the age of complete propaganda and brainwashing, you cannot really fully trust anyone. You do need to do your own research and then base your opinion on that research for yourself.
So you brought up propaganda and brainwashing, and this is something I'm trying to wrap my head around in medicine, because it just seems like when it comes to our bodies and our health, you hear about misinformation, but I sometimes feel the real misinformation is what you said earlier. is trying to obfuscate what you said earlier, which is our bodies know what to do. You just need to support them. What is going on with top line with health, do you think? Because there are people feeling terrible everywhere and sort of limping through life. What is going on with them, and why can't they get help from medicine?
Because the modern medicine doesn't recognize toxins, mold, parasites as a main contributor to your health issues, period. Let's not talk about food, because that's pretty obvious. If you eat rubbish, you cannot expect great health, or you cannot expect great health for a long time. So it may be working for you right now, but it won't be at a certain point. There will be issues. But I also see at the same time people who are assuming or are eating more or less healthy, but they're full of mold, parasites, and viral infections, bacterial infections that contribute to so many health issues. But conventional medicine does not recognize it. Like, really, it does not recognize. It's only what it can do for you is to numb the symptom, but not to address. You will not find a conventional doctor tell you, oh, you need to do antiparasitic cleanse. You will not find it. This is the problem. Because also at the same time, when you're coming to a doctor, I'm not even blaming the doctors, right? Like, they own really bad salaries. They're really not motivated. They got educated in 90s and they really don't read a lot of the latest studies. And they also have around 20 minutes to diagnose you and give you a solution. You as a customer, we as a customer, coming complaining about certain things, we usually discard the oh, you should be eating healthy, or you should work on your stress levels. We actually say, no, I don't care. Give me a solution. You as a doctor, you are obliged to provide me with a solution, quick one. I don't want to stop eating rubbish. I don't want to stop drinking alcohol. I don't want to stop eating sugar. It's impossible, but give me a solution. So it's in our way, also our own fault, because we are not prepared to do the changes that needed for health. So it goes both ways. If you are prepared, then yes, there are sources where you can learn from. It's not easy. If you've been abusing your body like me for first 20 years, let's say for first 25 years of age, the next 25 years of age is going to try and and make it up for all this damage that you've done. And I'm aware of this. Maybe I need to work more harder than any other person. Like, for example, me eating deep fried food may actually affect me more than the person who is already kind of like, I don't know, more or less had a strong immune system, because it also build up a lot of resistance when you're younger, and I actually didn't allow my body to get stronger. So that's probably how I would describe it. But if you really don't know where to start, definitely look into mold issue. Mold issue is so common in Dubai or anywhere in the world, and it comes up as a very subtle symptom. You would never link it. Even IBS, which is digestive issue, very often is candida. When you remove candida, your digestion becomes perfect. Your regularity is perfect. Your mood, the energy levels, the sleep becomes perfect. It's the mold issue. People assume, oh no, this is the food. It's not always the food, because a lot of people actually already eating clean, more or less clean. They're not eating terribly, but it's not helping, because the parasites are so hard to get rid of unless you really target them for a certain period of time.
So mold and parasites are separate issues, right? Are they separate?
Right.
So what do you suggest people do if they aren't feeling well and they suspect? You hear mold a lot. What do you suspect they suggest they do?
There are tests, there are blood tests that you can do, like organic acid tests that can establish the mold condition in your body. Again, this is not something conventional medicine recognizes. They don't even practice. If you're Russian, for example, I'm Russian, right? I'm born and raised in Estonia, but coming from a Russian family, and we grew up with a lot of knowledge from Russians. Russians are very strong. I'll give credit when credit is due. Very strong in medicine, in alternative medicine. Very strong. Like a lot of like peptides, like created by Russian professor, longevity. Like they do a lot of the right things. So for them, these tests are normal. Organic acid. You come to a normal GP and they do, okay, let's test you for mold. You probably have some parasites. It's normal. We as kids in our schools in Estonia, because again, that's where I was, used to be part of Russia before Soviet Union. But anyway, that's not the point. 1st of September, every single kid goes into a full parasitic testing. It was mandatory in our schools.
Oh.
And then identified, that was communicated to the parents. There was like an antiparasitic cleanse for kids. That's it. That's like normal. Where do you see that nowadays?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
So this is the different kind of conventional medicine approach. So if a person doesn't know, they need to educate themselves how to test. It's everything online. We live in a world like everything is online. Find the test, do the test, and then go to functional medicine doctor, because functional medicine doctors, they recognize the parasites, toxins, the mold, candida, viral infections, and it's all being treated right now, but not by conventional. That's why I want to see more and more experts talking about. We, as part of the Health Nag team, I just brought on board a person who is now restarting our online consultation, targeting mold issues, targeting parasites, and targeting bacterial and viral infections. Now you can book a consultation with the Health Nag, and that person is in charge. Yes, it's everything. There are already things that, and I encourage everyone to work. I encourage everyone at least once a year to do anti-mold protocol. I encourage everyone at least once a year to do anti-parasitic cleanse, because chances are, if you are a breathing human, you have parasites. They sit in pancreas, they sit in your gallbladder. They're creating gallbladder stones. Parasites. It's your insulin resistance, contributor. It's also your indigestion contributor, because the enzymes are not produced in the right way. They're sitting all over your body. This is something that a normal human think, no, I don't have parasites. Do the test. Stool test shows 9 people out of 10 do have parasites. Okay, not all of them causing issues, that I agree with, but in many cases they do, because it causes inflammation. They produce continuous toxicity in your body. They take your nutrients, they take your iron, they take your minerals, and there's so many other things, right? So bacterial infections, taking like bacterial infections like IBS, they easily could be because of the H. pylori infection. That's a bacterial infection that sits in your gut lining, creates a bunch of inflammation, reduces your own acidity, that you stop digesting meat, because a lot of people actually went vegan not because they don't want to be, they don't want to be for ethical purposes, let's say, but because their body almost refuses meat. They say, I can't digest meat, it's probably not good for me. Check your acidity levels, check your. So when I worked on my acidity levels, I started to crave meat, and I listened to my body. So I was vegan for almost 11 years. And then I realized, I have very low acidity. There's a test that you can do. And when I replenished my acidity with extra stomach acidity, I took 9 pills at a time for me to even feel something in my body. And then my meat digestion became perfect, and I started to crave it. Now I'm eat meater, and I'm a pro eat meater right now. So there's there's certain things that your body is super smart at, an intelligent mechanism. If you cannot digest meat, it will almost send you the signals to your brain, stop eating meat, whatever. And you as a human will find your own justification why you don't want it, but it's on a physiological level,
Yeah, I went through that with eggs last year when my digestion took a bad turn, and I was eating them because they say eat eggs, right? Eat eggs for protein, eat eggs, and I was almost like shoving them in my mouth because I was so grossed out. And then I've done a whole gut cleanse, and now I'm craving eggs again. I totally get it. Like, I totally understand that. But you will come up with every reason not to. We're very bad at. You must know a lot about this. We're very bad at connecting the dots, which is why I guess we need testing, right? Because what you ate yesterday, 1 + 1, we're not able to put it together. Do you see this?
Yeah, but also we have so many allergens at the same time throughout the day. How do you know which one? This is why it's important for me. I always say to my clients, you need to, you don't think coffee contributing to your actual fatigue, which is oxymoron, right? But when you stop coffee for 1 week and see your energy levels, and then introduce the coffee, and the anxiety comes on, it's like it makes you really tired. I'm like, that's your answer. But we don't do that. We don't do, same for the gluten. You don't know if gluten contributing. Go without gluten for 2 weeks, and then introduce gluten again and see how you feel. Again, we don't do that. So for me, coffee, I already know coffee for me doesn't work. I don't metabolize coffee at all, even though I still crave it sometimes. And sometimes once a month I treat myself, and it's okay. But straight away I do it. I'm like, it gives me this weird feeling buzz. I don't get it. Matcha doesn't give me, it gives me energy. But everyone is different. You got to listen to your body, and that's what I did with my breast implants.
I want to talk about your breast
body.
Yeah. So tell me what happened. You had implants like many women. And then so let's talk about it.
And it felt so innocent as well. And it wasn't even that long ago. It was only 5 years ago. But 5 years ago, I was a completely different human too, and even on the psychological level. Like now, for example, if I do have scars on my breast, right? For now, my mindset, it's meaningless to me right now. But at that time, it was different. So it's almost like a physical kind of like expression of my very different mindset right now. But I did get them 5 years ago, and I really didn't do any research. I thought absolutely every single person has them. They're totally fine. They have beautiful, healthy babies, and they look good and everything. Really, at that time, I was already super healthy, but I was still a slave to society or my own kind of whatever. We know what it is. So I got them. Since the moment I get them, I regret it immediately. They're too big. They're not me. I don't like them. And I feel like, you know what? It's probably, I just need to give it some time. Then immediately I lost sleep. So I could not sleep anymore at all. So my sleep became so light that I was almost like, literally saying I have insomnia. You couldn't sleep in a certain way. They were hurting. The moment you turn around in the awkward way, it gives you like a sharp pain straight away. So I got super upset. So straight away, my mental understanding of this new outer object is that they're causing me pain and that I cannot sleep. And that I thought, okay, give it time as well. It needs to heal. And it did heal. It got a little bit better. But then every now and then the pain would come. But then it got settled. But one thing never settled is my sleep. Since then, it just got worse and worse and worse to the point where I could not sleep without very harsh an intense dose of sleeping pills. And I don't take like super chemical. I would take like something natural, but I would also take a melatonin, and it went from 5 milligrams to 60 milligrams per night, and still it was not helping. So I tried all my health snacks. I tried everything. Yes, I could sleep only with extra dose of hacking myself. So that was like the most obvious thing, and I could not link it to the breast implants. There's absolutely no way. Sleep and breast implants, it doesn't make sense. They were looking good at the end. I could feel that they are totally fine. They kind of settled there. This the body created capsule. But in the last year, it's almost my body started to throw a tantrum. Literally said, Natasha, you don't listen to me, and let me make it worse for you. Night sweats came. So every night I would be drenched in a night sweat. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not in my 20s anymore. Maybe there's something in my body's trying to tell me. I tried like some hormonal therapy just to rule it out. So I did some progesterone and some this. And then it's just like, no, it's just, and then I did some cleanses. I did everything, and they were not going away. And then my lymph blew up. That was my latest in the next maybe 6 months. So all my lymph nodes everywhere got inflamed. And then I did the test for the inflammation marker, and it showed a very high CRP, which is a C-reactive protein, which is a marker for inflammation. And then I'm like, inflammation, from everything that I do to reduce inflammation. And I'm like, so there's something we're going to, and then it's just intuitive. I feel like, you know what? I did some research on I found thousands of women talking about how their health completely deteriorated, not right away, but over the time from the breast implants, and showing the symptoms completely non-related. And if you really think about it, yeah, it's an outer object. You cut out your lymph, to insert, and lymph is connected. So this part of the body now getting cut out of the lymph flow, which is your major detoxifier. These things I did not really think of at all. There's no point to beat myself up for it. I'm just trying to make it up for it and apologize to my body, and like sincerely apologize to my body for being absolutely idiot. And I wish these things are educated and about, and these things are, I don't know, we learn in schools as part of the health, we really do not understand this. No matter how intelligent you are, don't even beat yourself up. We are all brainwashed in a certain way. So I said, okay, you know what? Based on everything what's going on, clearly it has contributed, maybe not so much, but at this point, my mindset has changed. I don't want an outer object. I don't want to get old or age with an outer object in my body. They don't belong. It's a toxic bag. And then I just flew to Miami. I found a doctor who only removes them. he actually refuses to put them in, even though he is a plastic surgeon. He says, I only do this for health purposes, and he removes everything. And I kind of trusted him. I looked at the testimonials because, again, my analytical mind is very structured. So I found the man that I could trust, maybe not going to be the most beautiful job, but for the health purposes, I found the right person for me. And I flew, and I really beautiful energy, and I've shared it on my page who I did it with. And then fast forward, they became not very fluffy, they became scarred, but I still have something there going on, but my self-love is on another level now. It's like almost like I really don't care. But fast forward 2-3 weeks, like around 3 weeks, so still night sweat would come and go after I removed it for about 2-3 weeks, and now they're completely gone. I do not take anything for sleep at all, not even a little bit of glycine or L-theanine, just something harmless. I do not sleep at all, and I go to bed at 11 and I fall asleep, and I sleep throughout the night. I don't remember the last time where I would sleep throughout the night. Even when the mosque goes up at 4 a.m., I can't hear anything. Shocking. This is how quickly your body rewards you for the right decisions. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm sure I'm detoxifying a lot of things, and it's healing. I got cut open, but the sleep, wow, you don't understand. I could actually wake up, even though I'm a health nag. It was embarrassing to share, but I could not hack it because the external was not the problem. It was an internal problem, and this is unbelievable. And I don't know how to link it breast implants to insomnia, because a lot of people actually have completely different symptoms like fatigue and then some other thing, but insomnia. Okay, wow. So that's where I feel like some people, some immune system, okay, I will not say it's bad for everyone. I'm just saying to think twice. You have a right to make your own decision, because a lot of girls are super happy with it. It gained them confidence. They feel feminine, amazing. But I'm just saying that that's my story. I'm not going to be a propaganda. I'm just saying not every immune system loves it. You don't know how your body will react. It's a Russian roulette. Maybe in 5 out of 6 people will be okay, but that 6th person will really suffer from completely unrelated symptoms until you remove them. So this is just the only thing that I have a message for, like to the other women.
Well, you're not going to hear about that either when you go to a surgeon and say, hey, I want to have some plastic surgery. You're not going to hear this side of it. It would be a terrible business model. And so a lot of the times, do you find anyway, they don't really even acknowledge it. So you're just not going to get that informed consent of the stuff that can happen.
Unfortunately, it's even positioned as something completely harmless. Like you go to any clinic, is like, feel beautiful. Like, hello, what are you promoting? That I have to do that to feel beautiful? Come on, how about feminine and powerful energy? How about like being super intelligent and caring and nurturing? Come on, like I can get super aggressive now by hearing this, and I probably will when it's presented to me. And I want to destroy that opinion and that propaganda. But that's why it's super important just to step back as a woman, because we are bombarded with just this. And as a man, of course, as well, it goes both ways, like bold men have complexes. I love bold men. What's the problem, But it's like, because but I understand where their insecurity is coming from. I get it. And we are both slaves to it, both men and women, just in different ways. So maybe we should encourage and give ourselves more confidence, like compliments, on a regular basis, and forget about even others. Give yourself a compliment, but it takes time. Honestly, I feel it comes with age, to be totally honest. Loving yourself unconditionally comes with age, period.
Yeah. Speaking of mental health, what are your what's your top recommendation for people? There's a lot of people struggling right now. What's your sort of recommendation for helping yourself through mental health challenges?
Sometimes there is nothing you can do to really help yourself in the world unless you actually hack it. You do need to hack at this point, because rationality doesn't help. A lot of people feel helpless. What do? Just suffering for no reason is also not good for your health. Like, that I was having the conversation yesterday with my friend, and she's like, I just feel like I just hate the world, and I can't. I'm in so much pain, and I understand because I'm in the same position, but maybe because I'm a bit more, I don't know how to say, aggressive, maybe, yeah, in the way like I express myself. I said, you know what? You cannot help the world by feeling more miserable. It's not. So you, to be able to help the world, you have to take care of yourself first, because then you're strong enough to stand up and speak up. And maybe you have to stop feeling selfish to take care of yourself and prioritize your health and wellness at this point. You have to a degree, you have to stop feeling. Everyone feels guilty for living the life right now. Everyone feels guilty to eat breakfast. Everyone feels guilty to share something positive. Everyone feels, I mean, if you're a healthy human being, you feel guilty. But it's not fair also. You cannot discard your own health and wellness in the name of someone else's. You cannot. You shouldn't feel bad. But what you would do is to help yourself, nourishing your nervous system, and that you can do through L-theanine, which is an amino acid great for your to distress and help you with this anxiety and sleep. Glycine, like I take chamomile tea, instead of coffee right now. Like certain things you can do, and I think everyone should be doing this right now. And I just posted on Health Nag tips on which actually nutraceuticals to take to help you get through this, because you can still get involved. You can still share and support the cause, but without you being in a really, really distressed mode,
Yeah. How about, okay, food is just sort of, and nutrition is a quagmire. And I love when you go through the supermarkets. I always wonder how you manage to do that. I feel like they would chase me out. But what's just, is there something in your mind that impacts almost everyone that they can take out or be aware of when it comes
I have
to
a few of those. I don't know how many am I allowed
say
to
whatever
have?
Yeah.
For me, I have like maybe 10 key health habits that I think absolutely everyone should introduce. First of all, stop deep fried food. It seems innocent, but it isn't. And it's not about calories. I love calories. If you see me, how many calories I consume, like oils everywhere. It's not about calories. You cannot gym your way out of the inflammation. It's different. So deep fried foods, very often, I would say 90% fried in the oil that is not heat stable, and that turns into carcinogen. So you're literally consuming a pure toxin. No matter if there is a lot of people are so funny. They order, I don't know, like a deep fried asparagus and assume that they're healthy. This is like the most hilarious thing, Oh, like this is healthy. It's a vegetable, but it's deep fried. So yeah, like obviously French fries goes without saying, but I'm saying all deep fried. There's like, I don't know, they have like crab deep fried, like anything deep fried in the traditional oil, not the oil, what's this? Air fryer, sorry, air fryer. Not the air fryer I'm talking deep fried food. Stop eating that. That's one thing I would stop. Second thing, I would stop eating seed oils. And seed oils, they're in all this plant-based milks, like all this oxidized seed oils. I would go more olive oil, coconut oil, butter if you want to. Ghee is fine.
Okay, just this to stop. Those are in a lot of snacks too, right? Those are in the.
It's everywhere. It's no processed food, pretty much. That's it. So that's why going away from the processed food, eating more at home or eating from the restaurant that you kind of trust, but asking them what oil they're cooking it with. Most people say canola oil, sunflower oil. I would say I pay premium, charge me more, but make it with olive oil. A lot of people will do that. And I do that. I'm a nag. I'm allowed. If you don't do that, I will, you know what happens? I'll go Russian on you. So this is small things. Like another thing, stop snacking. Destroys your pancreas, destroys your digestive system. Eat 2-3 times a day and do not eat in between. Drink in between. You're not supposed to be drinking during your meals. Every time I sit down in the restaurant, when do you want to drink? I'm like, I don't drink when I eat. What? All the time. The brainwashing, you have to have liquids with your food. I don't need water to help me swallow, like if I do, then I'm eating very wrong food. Literally. So a lot of people really drink a lot. And another thing, they drink cold water before. What happens when you drink cold water or water with ice, which I see all the time before your meals? It blocks your bile. Your bile gets solidifies your bile. Bile is part of the digestive process. It doesn't open your digestive system. It actually shuts down liver, and it solidifies the fat that you consume in digestion. So most people who take cold liquids before meals, they literally shutting down the digestion. So this is another thing I wouldn't do. I would drink something warm before meals, like a small cup of green tea, ginger tea, whatever, or just a hot water to open up, take a few breaths, and then I'll start eating. Definitely not drinking a lot of fluids, which people see like sometimes half a liter during your meals. I'm sorry, you're diluting your acidity, diluting your enzymes. And again, forget about absorbing anything. You're going to be bloated and just trigger your IBS symptoms. That's it. So these are obvious things for me though, but it's not obvious for a lot of people. So these are my basics. And then obviously I don't need sugar. If I want something sweet, it's going to be something super clean, a dark chocolate, or I'll make myself hot chocolate, like a healthy one with honey, dates, or I'm got obsessed lately with like a dark chocolate spread with hazelnuts, which is super clean. And you put tahini in there and you swirl together some seeds. I like this stuff. Like if I really want something dessert, like I would not go for a milk cake, for example. It's just not me. So I will surround myself with healthy desserts, that because those weak moments do come, and if you don't plan, you are going to be in trouble. I plan like Einstein, I travel, I have my own food, I have everything that I need. If I on a plane, I have everything in my bags. You will always find either matcha stick on the go, or you find some honey on the go, you find like dates on the go. Like you gotta plan, otherwise forget it. It's croissants everywhere, gluten everywhere, and sugar. So, and yesterday I think I bought for my, like, I crave dark chocolate. So I bought some dark chocolate, Ritter Sport. Everyone knows Ritter Sport, super commercial, but there was no other option. And I chose the darkest chocolate with hazelnuts. I thought it's the healthiest. And I eat one and I'm like, oh my God, this is still so sweet because I'm so sugar free. And I give it to my team, to like my admin, and she's like, that's not sweet at all, Natasha. I'm like, see, my palate is changed. So this is like these are the basics. Coffee, I coffee gives me anxiety and I can't sleep with coffee. Not even I can't sleep with coffee, it's just I can feel like it's like my body is like getting super weird energy. But again, it's very individual, so test it out. Bread, I don't eat bread unless it's sourdough, a really high quality I buy online, and I do crave sourdough bread. And sourdough bread is actually good for you. There are crucial B vitamins there, thiamine, and a lot of things that are good. So balance. I think that's enough, no?
I think that's good. That's quite a lot. My last question is, do you think it's possible to be too obsessed with health?
Yeah.
You just make a business out of it, right? And then you just
I got it already. Like I got it. It's like people think it's complicated, but I found my way of integrating into my life without suffering. I still go out. I don't drink alcohol. I still go out. I dance more than people who drink, because I don't have this stigma. I'm like happy, when you're healthy, you produce healthy hormones. You don't need hacking. When you are healthy, you have your own amazing amount of dopamine, serotonin, pheromones. You don't need alcohol. Alcohol is actually the opposite effect for me. So I found my way, and everyone in this world can do the same. You should be obsessed about health because you have one body, and it's not about living longer. Who cares about that? It's about living amazingly right now. And as you age, still live amazing and not depend on anyone, not to be in a wheelchair. And don't forget, like, don't stop recognizing your loved ones. It's not about living longer. It's about living vibrantly, joyfully.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie, for
Keep teaching us about everything that we aren't hearing everywhere else.
Happy Nag.
We'll follow you. Yeah, Health Nag everywhere. Health Nag on the website and all social media. You do great videos, educating in little bite-sized bits. It's really cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'll nag you later.